Hi, so I'm going to tell you everything I can think of in about 5 minutes that will help you progress with your bar chords. The main principle we want to start with is for everything you're learning in music, you'll hear me say this a lot of times, we improve everything by focusing on one thing. Music has so many different things going on: the rhythm, the physical skill, the knowledge, the tone, all these things that if we can just focus on one thing, we improve that one thing, and then we focus on the other thing, we improve that thing, and it all comes together much more quickly than if we're always trying to do 6 things perfectly, especially when all 6 things are new. So when it comes to bar chords, let's break it down. And I'm going to assume you've seen a chart. That kind of information is everywhere. So we have the standard bar chord shape. Let's just there's a couple of main ones, but let's just focus on this one for now. This would be your F chord, which is movable. A whole step higher would be a G chord. A whole step higher, A. Whole step higher, B, and so on. So bar chords are great because they're movable. And you know what? While I'm thinking of it, even if you're not good at playing bar chords yet, knowing the shape is really good for you, because once you understand how the notes work together, once we talk more about theory and how the theory works on the fretboard, knowledge of that shape can help you create your own chord shapes where you just play part of the shape. And this is what a lot of people do when they're playing lead. They're aware of the chord shape even though they might not be playing the whole chord shape. So knowledge of these shapes is really important even if you don't have the physical strength to play them yet. So let's take a look at this F shape, and let's take a look at this shape here and move it down a half step. And what we actually have is the E major shape. We have a finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. We have a finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And we have a finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret. Those 3 notes are part of the E chord, and if we let the open strings ring, then we have an E major chord. So what happens when we make the F is this shape is moved up 1 fret higher, and then this finger is getting an F down here and an F here. So what I'm getting at is this shape here is an important part of this bar shape. And what I'm about to say applies to other bar shapes too, but I'm going to focus on this bar shape for today. So let's break it down. There's a lot of things we can do to make it easier. Instead of trying to do all of this, let's do part of it, and let's do another part, and then someday put it together. First of all, it's a lot easier to play your bar chords up here than it is down here. So let's not start down here. Let's start maybe on the 5th fret. And if you can't bar, then you're not going to be able to bar and do that. So let's spend a little time just barring. A really important thing to know is that since these 3 fingers are squeezing these 3 strings, this finger does not have to squeeze these 3 strings. So when you're first starting out, it's a good idea to just lay your finger down and see if you can get the low string to sound good and the high strings. And it's okay when you're starting out. See how my fingers, these fingers are kind of helping this finger right now. And that's okay. See how my wrist is kind of straight? Be careful you don't do that. That's going to make you weaker. So maybe just let's use our principles for making chords. It applies to bar chords too. Shake your hands. Put your wrist out nice and straight. Just put it as close, you keep it straight and close to the neck about where you're going to play. And just curve your fingers around like you're about to make a chord shape. But instead of using these fingers to make a shape, just what we're going to do is turn a little bit to this side of the finger. Okay? Don't get caught thinking that it has to be like a perfectly 90-degree angle sort of thing. That's going to make my wrist hurts just thinking about it. So your hand's out here, and you're just, it's naturally, mechanically, that's the way your body wants to work. So work with your body, not against it. So just put your hand out there naturally and put your finger down on the 5th fret. And it's actually on this side of my finger, and the finger's curved a little bit. Okay? That is easier. There's more tension when you make your finger perfectly straight. Let it curve. And for now, don't worry about squeezing any of the other strings. Just see if you can get just lay it over on the side and squeeze right here and squeeze right here. And see if you can get the low string and the high string, and let these fingers help. These fingers are kind of pushing too. And these little things, you don't have to spend a lot of time on them. It would be a good idea when you practice. First you do something like a warm-up that's easy. Don't do this. Just something that's easy, just to get your fingers starting to move. That's what warm-up is for. And warm-up is for focusing on technique. You want what you're doing for warm-up to be easy. And think about your technique, keeping your wrist straight, and think about the mechanics of what you're doing. And then an exercise would be something new. So this would be a good exercise. And you only have to do this for a few minutes each time you practice. So rather than skipping it because it's hard, spend just even if you do it like a minute, if you do it every day, there's a lot of cool things that happen in your brain, and it will get easier and easier. And this is a good start. So that would be one thing you could focus on. Another thing, and so let's look at another aspect of this shape, the shape right here. So we've learned this shape so you could, for an exercise, spend some time, instead of playing your E chord like this, you could spend some time playing your E chord like that. Just to give these fingers some experience being in that shape. If these fingers can't play that shape here without barring, if these fingers can't on their own make that shape, they're not going to be able to make that shape when you're barring also. So spend some time just working on that. And your A minor chord, and you can make them in different places. Like actually, this is sort of a B minor. If my finger was here, it would be a B minor chord. But if this is still like, remember the A minor shape? So this is the same shape, just with the other 3 fingers. And this is not beginner stuff. If this is over your head, take my beginner guitar class. But if we take the A minor shape and we slide it up 2 frets, it sounds kind of nice. That doesn't sound so good with the open strings. That one sounds pretty nice. So you can just spend some time with these 3 fingers making that shape and play it in different places. And even if you just play those 3, then these 3 fingers get some experience doing their job. This finger gets some experience doing its job. And that might be all you do with your bar chords for a while. And that's a good thing to do, like to help you get ready to play bar chords. Let's see, did I say 5 minutes? Oh, wow, 9 minutes already. Well, sorry. I lied, but I have more good things to say. So it's gonna be longer. There's a lot of things that will help. So we talked about how instead of playing your bar chord down here, play it up here. So, and it depends on your fingers. If you're making the major shape, for some people that may be easier, but this same barring here and making the same shape on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string That's a minor shape. That might be harder for you, it might be easier. But if you're making the minor shape, you should know that it's this finger, really what you need is the 5th string. You don't need the 6th string to sound out in the minor shape. So you could focus on pressing the 5th string and the 1st string. And again, there's kind of a curve there, and I'm using the side of my finger, putting most of the pressure here and here. Everybody's fingers are a little bit different, your knuckles, the length of your fingers and stuff. So you can kind of experiment with how high up or down for some people it might work better to only reach to the 5th string. And I'm letting my finger mute the 6th string. For some people it might be easier to squeeze all of them. There's another little thing I want to share, and that is there's a reason why classical guitar players play with their guitar like this. I'm going to back up a little so you can see what I'm doing. I have this footstool. There's a lot of different kinds. You don't need to get a footstool. You can use a pile of books or something. Your guitar, I'm going to move this so you can see maybe more of me. I'm going to put my left foot, oh sorry, there's some clutter. Anyway, I'm going to put my left foot on the stool to raise my left knee, and then I'm going to loosen this for now. So now my guitar is resting on my left knee, which is raised, and it puts my guitar at this angle. This is physically easier to play anything, which is why classical guitarists play this way. And the cool thing is, if you're doing something difficult and you start with your guitar like this and you learn how to do it, I can't tell you why, but for some reason, then you can go back to playing it like more the, folky country way. So that's one thing that helps. Another thing that helps is if you're just playing standing. Sorry about my video of my palm. Anyway, watch players, and sometimes when people are performing, they get to a certain part and they go like this, and that's because it's physically easier to do certain things when the guitar is at more of an angle. So you could also try standing, and again somewhere in the middle, maybe at the 5th fret, making your bars, and just go at it. Go easy, and let me know if those things help. Let me know if you have questions. Questions help a lot. And if you or anyone you know is interested in my beginner guitar class, well, actually there will be other classes. Right now it's February of 2019, and I have one online music class, but if you're watching this 5 years from now, hopefully there's going to be bunches, not just guitar. So if you go to www.everyonecanjam.com and sign up for my email list, you will get a link to my free instruction page, and you will get any information about any classes I have. There will be other kinds of instruction for music in general too. I mean, there already is some instruction there that applies to any instrument, but right now I'm starting with guitar. So let's see, I guess that's it for now, and lots of luck with your bar chords.